It's Sunday, and you know what that means. Today, Luke Michael Howard, clinical hypnotist and owner of Lukenosis Hypnosis and Rapid Recovery Specialist, here with another I'm pointing to my t-shirt, hard dose of reality, if you can see it right there. So we're going to give people a few moments to let them join us. Where are you in the world? If you just joined us, please do put your destination in the comments below. Say hi, give us a thumbs up. As always with these videos today's title is of the Facebook Live is going to be, what are your fuck it moments? Specifically when we talk about addiction, doesn't matter what that addiction is, whether that be alcohol, hey Deb, how are you? Whether that be heroin, whether that be crack, whether that be gambling, sex, porn, obsessive thoughts, sugar, social media, TV, internet. So we're going to get into that a little bit later on. And the fuck it moments being those moments where you're like, you're doing so well, you're abstaining, you're on the right path, and you're like, fuck it. And then you start using, you start smoking, you start drinking, you start drugging, you start gambling, you start aimlessly surfing the interweb. You download your porn, you stream it, whatever it is, those moments where you're like, fuck it, I'm done. Let me just, those breaking moments, those breaking points, we can get into those a little bit later on. I had my first haircut today in 6 months. Decided to grow my hair, so we're in that difficult stage right now. But yeah, it was very good. I went to, on the dark market, as we say, to find a barber today, and it was a good experience to have my hair and beard cut finally after all this time. So I don't know when the last time you had your hair or beard cut. You can put it in the comments below. Be interesting to see if anyone's gone longer than 6 months. But yeah, what are your fuck it moments? Let you see. Yeah, maybe after I wash my hair, Deb, I will let you see. But for now, I just had the old undercut. I had the undercut done of the hair because I'm growing it. Maybe at some point. So, yes, what are your fuck it moments? So, what I learned with working with people in recovery, people who have attempted recovery before, be that with AA, be that with NA, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, or some form of overpriced rehab, is in almost everyone I've met, they've got the fuck it moment. It's like they're doing so well, they've decided to live a life of sobriety. Hello, Vincent. If you just joined us, give us a wave, give us a thumbs up. These people have decided, you know what, this drug, this drink, this obsessive thought, this pattern, dating the same person with 10 different faces, enough's enough. I'm done. This needs to stop. And they'll go quite a way. They'll do well for a period of time, and then something happens, the proverbial shit hits the fan. They're like, fuck it, I'm a smoke, I'm gonna use, I'm gonna do whatever my drug of choice may be out there, because this is all too much. Hey Vincent, if you just joined us, say hi in the comments below like Vincent just did, or give us a thumbs up. So what are some of your fuck it moments? I'd be curious to see. Put in the comments below, what are your fuck it moments where it's just like everything's going well, you're abstaining from sugar, you're abstaining from porn, you're abstaining from your drug of choice, alcohol, crack, heroin, cocaine, speed, gambling, whatever it may be, internet, social media, and you're doing great and you've got some momentum built up, and then something just happens and you're like, fuck it, I'm going to overeat today, I'm going to overuse today, going to gamble today, going to go and hire an escort today, whatever it is, because fuck it, I've had enough. Why it's really important to identify your fuck it moment, or what we in the psychological community call your anchors, or negative anchors. These, or some people will call them triggers in layman's terms. What are your triggers? I'll call them fuck it moments, but these things that they're your kryptonite. You're doing well, you're abstaining, you're walking the path that you've determined that you need to walk, the path of sobriety you want to go down, and then something hits you. What is it? For me, right, as someone who was addicted to sugar, for me, I'd be doing really, really well when I'm at home. And I'd be walking down the street, and I may have even just eaten. And if I went past Starbucks Or if I went past the McDonald's, even though I wasn't hungry, I'd be like, oh, that smell. Oh, I need to have a Big Mac right now. I need to have some McNuggets. Need to have some fries. Or Starbucks, I'd smell the aroma. I'd see the green sign. I'm like, oh, I need a Frappuccino right now. I don't need a Frappuccino. Whoever really needs it, we want it. We don't really need it. You know, dairy, caffeine and sugar, everything a growing boy needs. But I'd be walking past and everything was fine, and suddenly that trigger, that fuck it moment would come up. I'm like, I need to go in. I need to get that Frappuccino, that overpriced coffee right now. And that would be what it would for me. Another fuck it moment for me, right, is everything's going well. Then I had this pattern that I identified in my life that if 3 things in one day or a short period of time, basically a day, if 3 things went wrong, bad, not the way that I wanted it to go, 3 separate things, then I'd be like, fuck it, today's gone to hell. I'm just not going to do my marketing today. I'm not going to make these videos for you today. I'm not going to do my studying today. I'm not going to train today. I'm not going to do the other things that I'm doing daily that are positive beneficial to me. I'm not going to do my meditation today. I'm not going to do my cold shower today. Fuck it, today's gone to hell. 3 bad things. And I wouldn't even realise that 3 things had happened. I hadn't identified my fuck it moments, my triggers, if you will, my negative anchors. But as soon as I did, what would happen is one thing would go wrong. But all right, this is life. You know, we roll with the punches, we parlay them. Second thing would go wrong. Then I trained myself. All right, 2 things have gone wrong. And by wrong, I just meant they didn't go the way that I wanted them to go in a short period of time within a day. And I'm like, all right, the second thing going wrong, a red flag started to go off inside my head that says, Luke, you're very dangerously close to your fuck it moment. You're very dangerously close to throwing in your towel at this moment and just avoiding life and engaging in some activity that an hour or 2 or tomorrow morning I'm going to wish that I didn't do. And I used that second thing that went wrong as a red flag, as a white flag, red flag, not a white flag. White flag means a surrendered white. But I guess in a way it kind of is. I would surrender, but that would be more of the third thing. But it was the red flag. You're about to go down a street you don't want to go down. You're going to feel very regretful about this when you're done. Speaking as myself, this is danger. You need to do something now. So when I hit that second wrong, that second thing that wasn't going to the way that I wanted it to go, I identified that as that was, pull off the highway right now. Stop the car right now. Danger, 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 Will Robinson, for the Lost in Space fans out there. Do something different now to change my emotional state, my physiology, so I don't go down that wrong street that I will regret tomorrow. So those were some of mine that I identified, and I needed to make those mistakes over and over and over again in order to just get it. And when I got it, most of the times now I'll get it, 2 things will go and I'm like, all right, got to do something now, otherwise my day is about to go to shit. Okay, what are your fuck it moments? What are your triggers? What are your kryptonite? That as soon as you're faced with it, the visual, the feel, the kinesthetic, the semantic, the emotional feelings, the sound, smell or taste, but when you're there, even though you've decided to go down a positive, a sobriety path to abstain, that when you're confronted with it, you're like, is it one particular thing? Is it a pattern of 3 things you know is happening, and you're like, you throw in the towel and then you start to indulge to try and self-soothe yourself because it's all too much. And for me, I identified when those 2 things went wrong, about to go into 3, what it was is like I felt my whole day had gone to shit, and it was a way of self-soothing myself because I didn't want anything else to go wrong and I needed to escape. It's all about escape, isn't it? That's why everyone does a form of drug, form of addiction. I won't say drug, an addiction, whether that be aimlessly surfing the internet, downloading or watching porn aimlessly, whether that be drinking too much, drugging too much, smoking too much, whatever it is, obsessive thoughts. It's a way to gain some control because you feel that you're not in control, okay? And the second thing is it's a way to kind of anesthetize yourself from something that you're not wanting to feel. For many, many years now, it's been very easy for me to go into anger. Very easy for me to go into anxiety. it was very difficult for me to face the emotion of sadness. So sadness would be here, sadness I hadn't dealt with, but on top of it was a nice layer of anxiety, and on top of that was a nice layer of anger. So I'd be going into anger, anxiety all day. Very, very rarely would I go into sadness, because with anger I can get a shitload of stuff done. But it's a top level emotion. It's not the root cause. It's not the source. With anxiety, you know, I think it's keeping me safe when I'm anxious. Won't talk to that person, won't do this particular activity because something bad might happen. I might be at risk, might not be safe. Makes me avoid interfacing with the rest of the world, which is not great, especially in today's time. You know, in Toronto where I live, we've been under lockdown for over a year now. We're the most locked down city in the whole world. So last thing I want is even more lockdown, you know. Yeah, so it's a way for me to avoid facing that sadness, because I didn't want to face that sadness. Still difficult for me to face it, to be honest, but I do my best. You know, I eat that elephant. How they say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So I eat smaller chunks of it in order to acclimatize my body in order to deal with it now. It's not I don't want to go there. I don't want to face it, but I realize negative emotions come up. Not really negative emotions either. They're just more sometimes unresourceful emotions, but mass people will label it negative emotions. So I'll do it for the sake of my audience on this video. But those emotions are just coming up, just so you can face them, acknowledge them, so they can go. Negative emotions are a bit like hunger, or cravings for food, craving for drugs, craving for whatever your addiction is. They come up. You think they're there all the time. They're not. I don't care how much of an addict that you think that you are, that addiction is not always there. It's not always 10 out of 10. Even if you just used, it's not, I know, that price might go down, but it's not always 10 out of 10. Meaning 10 being like, I really got to use right now, and 0 being, I don't need to use at all because I just used, or I've done some work on myself and decided not to do it. So even some of the clients I've worked with that had a really, really strong addiction, stuff like heroin and crystal meth and really, really destructive stuff like that. And it was destroying their body, destroying their family, destroying their working life, But even them at their very worst, it was never always a 10 out of 10. It was different times. So like those negative emotions that come up, those feelings that we're putting all the layers to avoid on, doing our addictions to run away from it, even if we don't know conceptually what that is, it's just like hunger. It was just like an emotion. Emotion comes up, emotion goes. Emotion comes up, you feel happy, you're doing great, you feel happy. Maybe you'll hold on to that happiness for an hour or two. Maybe if you're really, really good at happiness, you'll hold on to that happiness for a half a day or a day. That'd be amazing. But then something else will come in the way, and it might be annoyed, it might be peace, it might be excitement. It could be a positive or negative emotion, but you won't always just be happy. Same, right now I'm hungry, right? I haven't eaten in about 22 hours. I'm hungry, my tummy's saying eat, but I'm fasting for a couple of days. Now, I could eat right now, but I know I've gone 7 days without eating before, so 2 days is nothing. Get it intellectually, and I've had that experiential learning of going 7 days without eating. But right now, I really want to eat right now, but I made the decision. I'm going to fast. I'm going to fast for 2 days, and we're not even 1 day into it right now. So I realise, as hungry as I am right now, hunger's really an emotion, meaning a few minutes from now, an hour from now, I won't be hungry. It will come, it will go. It might come back again, and it will go again. It's like the addiction. I've got to use my drug right now. It will come in strong force, because it's trying to get you to go down the road that you don't want to go down, but then it will go. Then it will come back again, then it will go. Then it will come back again, then it will go. And every time it comes back, but you resolve to make that decision to go down the path that you want to go down, the right path for you, and the neurological pathways in your brain get stronger and stronger, meaning there's a trigger, there's a potential fuck it moment, but instead of going down the wrong road, the road that you've gone down, you don't want to go down, of using and just avoiding whatever you're avoiding, whether you're aware of it consciously or not, you start to go down the right road, which is, I'm just going to have a warm bath instead of using. I'm going to do some deep breathing exercise instead of using. I'm going to go for a walk or a scooter ride without using. I'm going to do something positive for myself. I'm not going to abandon myself in this moment of a need. And yes, by using, you're abandoning yourself. It's probably because you've got abandonment issues. We all do, including me. But certainly people that suffer from addiction, there's an awful lot of abandonment there that I've found almost all of the time. So by using, you're abandoning yourself, which is probably the thing that you don't want people to do, but people probably have done that to you in your life, and it's probably because on some level, like me, you were responsible consciously or unconsciously to driving them there. So in that moment when you resolve to do something right, and that fuck it moment comes you're about to use, realise when you do use, you're abandoning yourself in that moment. Even though you're like, I'm feeling shitty, I'm feeling some bad emotion, or I want to feel this better, high, and you use your drug of choice, or your addiction, whatever it may be. Again, it could be gambling, it could be internet, it could be social media, right? It could be any of these. It could be binge watching a TV show. It all sounds good, but if you're doing it to run away, to not face some kind of trauma or some kind of negative emotion or just some kind of pressure or something, you're abandoning yourself. And every time you abandon yourself, your self-esteem, which I like to think of self-esteem as your reputation with yourself, fuck everyone else, it's a reputation with yourself. That every time that you abandon yourself, your reputation goes down. It's a bit like when you're giving someone a rating on Uber or Lyft or a Google business, right? And every time that you abandon yourself, you're giving yourself a 1-star rating. So at the end of the week, end of the month, end of your life, out of 5 stars, you got an overall rating of 1. Is anyone going to want to use that Uber driver, that restaurant, that business? Probably not. So every time you abandon yourself, every time you give in to your addiction, every time you give in to the fuck it moments, you're giving yourself less than 1 star. Once or twice, it's like it's not the end of the world, but accumulated day after day, week after week, year after year, your lifetime, you look back and you've given yourself a 1-star rating as you look back on your life. I'm going to hallucinate it wasn't a great life, and you're going to felt that you were shortchanged. So now's your opportunity to stop abandoning yourself, raise your self-esteem, give yourself 5 stars like Dave Meltzer would, increase that reputation with yourself. When your reputation with yourself, when your self-esteem increases, self-esteem and confidence are not the same thing, by the way. They seem like the same thing. Confidence is this, situational. I could be really confident when I'm talking to you on this Facebook Live because you're lovely, right? But if I go and speak to, I don't know, a girl that I'm attracted to and I've never spoke to her before, could do that, right? So hypothetically, confident here, but not necessarily confident in that situation. Confidence is situational based. It's just a metaphor, folks. It's not real. But your self-esteem is that rich background, that rich tapestry, like a screensaver on your computer. It's always there. You could enter a situation where you're not an expert in, which is not your strength. And you know that cognitively, consciously. You know that this is not your strength and something could go wrong. Or reframing it might not go the way you want it to. That interview, approaching that person you're attracted to, male or female. But the self-esteem is, you know what, I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to go for that interview. Even if the qualifications are, I don't quite have those qualifications, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to approach that person over there, even though that I feel that they may reject me. Don't know that they will, to have a conversation. I'm going to go there. I'm a big boy or girl, and I'm going to go over there, and I'm still going to have that conversation. I'm going to apply for that course, that college course, that university course, even though I don't have all the qualifications, and there may be people there far smarter than me. I'm a bit old to go back to school now. I acknowledge that, and I'm still going to go there. I'm going to be okay. I'm going to deal with that stuff, and I'm still going to do it. So that's what self-esteem is. It's that rich background. It's not that everything is hunky-dory, perfect all the time. Quite the contrary, to be quite frank with you. It could be like, this may not go the way that it's going to go, yet I'm still going to make that decision to go over there, to swing for the fences, to level up my game in my life. That's what self-esteem is. Even if this doesn't go according to plan, I don't get that job, don't get that girl, don't get that college course, I'm going to be okay. Because if I don't get it, it's not an indictment to me being a 1-star business, a 1-star performer, a 1-star restaurant, a 1-star Uber driver. No. The mere fact that you go over there and you do your best, you give yourself 5 stars, because you realise you can only influence as much as you can influence. If it involves another person, you can't make that person do something unless you pull out a gun or a knife, and even then they have the option to say no. All you can do is influence, and you do your best job at influence. But taking a step to go up there, to level up your life, it's a beautiful thing. You get 5 stars in my book from there. So identify some of your fuck it moments, whether it be a pattern like me, 3 things going wrong, whether it going past a Starbucks like me used to. I don't know what it is for you. It might be hanging out with certain friends, cause you to have a trigger, a negative anchor in psychological terms, or a fuck it moment, as this video is entitled, to go down the wrong street, to go down the left road. Whether it's certain people, certain bars, certain environments, certain streets, listen to certain music, certain TV shows, certain websites that cause you to start to go down that path. Identify what they are for you. Because once you become conscious of it, you can start to change it and steer away from it. All right? And have a contingency plan put in place that even if it's outside your control, you realise what the pattern is, and you've brainstormed a way around it. Don't walk past that bar. Don't go down that street. Don't answer text or phone calls from that particular person. Okay? Don't go past that restaurant. Don't come past McDonald's, Starbucks, whatever it is for you. But identifying it, identify the triggers, the fuck it moments for you in your addiction, on your road to sobriety, will help you stay the course and create a beautiful life. So whether you're watching this live on Facebook, whether you're watching this on a replay on Facebook or on YouTube, whether you're listening to the audio on a podcast, put your comments below. What are some of your triggers, your fuck it moments? Identify them by typing them out. You will see it on the screen in front of you, and that'll give you some more food for thought. That'll give you some more armoury to be able to deal with that in the future. As always, if you've got any questions, do put your questions below. And if you're putting your questions in there now and it's live, I will answer them now. And if it's after the case, after the fact, I'll answer them later on. But as always, if you know anyone that would benefit from these videos, these discourses, these Facebook lives on addiction and all things about, you know, having a beautiful, amazing life, then please do share these videos with them, whether they be particular people or whether they be Facebook groups or other groups that you feel would appreciate and would benefit from some of this advice that I'm dispensing on you here. That being said, I'm going to get on with the rest of my day. So I'll see you, same Luke time, same Luke place, same Luke channel, with a hard dose of reality. Always believe.